Every neighborhood has one. The person who uses HOA rules, city ordinances, and social pressure to terrorize everyone around them while positioning themselves as a concerned citizen protecting property values. Today, I'm sharing how one single mother turned her HOA tyrant's own tactics against him and ended his reign of terror permanently. I'm Madison Clark, and this story from Served Cold, 20 Stories of Perfect Revenge proves that neighborhood bullies are actually the most vulnerable betrayers once you understand their psychology and document their methods. Meet Sarah, a single mother who became the target of HOA President William's systematic harassment campaign. William would cite her for minor infractions like grass height, holiday decorations staying up one day too long, and parking violations that he never enforced against other residents. William's harassment escalated when Sarah couldn't afford expensive landscaping improvements he demanded. He began documenting every minor maintenance issue at her property while ignoring identical issues at homes owned by residents he favored. Sarah realized William was trying to force her to sell her home and move away. Here's what most people do when facing neighborhood harassment. They complain to other residents, argue with the harasser directly, or give up and move away to escape the conflict. Sarah chose a different approach that destroyed William's power completely. Instead of reacting emotionally to William's harassment, Sarah started researching his background and documenting his selective enforcement patterns. She discovered that William had been running the same harassment campaign against 3 previous residents who had eventually sold their homes and left the neighborhood. But Sarah got really smart when she realized that William's harassment was actually revealing systematic HOA corruption. William was selectively enforcing rules to drive out residents whose properties he wanted to acquire through his real estate investment company. Sarah discovered that William had purchased 2 homes in their neighborhood at below-market prices after harassing the previous owners into desperate sales. William wasn't just a neighborhood bully. He was running a real estate scam using HOA authority to create artificial pressure for property sales. Sarah documented everything: selective rule enforcement, harassment patterns targeting specific residents, and William's undisclosed financial interests in forcing property sales. She gathered testimonials from previous harassment victims and evidence of William's real estate acquisitions following successful harassment campaigns. But instead of confronting William directly, Sarah did something brilliant. She organized a neighborhood meeting to discuss improving community standards and property values. She invited every resident, positioned the meeting as collaborative and positive, and asked William to present his vision for neighborhood improvement. During William's presentation about maintaining high standards, Sarah asked strategic questions that revealed his selective enforcement patterns in front of the entire neighborhood. For example, "That's interesting, William. Why is grass height enforcement different for different streets? And how do property improvement requirements relate to recent sales in the neighborhood?" As William tried to answer, the pattern of targeted harassment became obvious to everyone present. Residents started comparing notes about their experiences with HOA enforcement and realized William had been treating different people according to different standards. Sarah then presented her documentation of William's real estate investments and harassment patterns. The correlation between his harassment campaigns and subsequent property acquisitions became undeniable when presented chronologically to the full neighborhood. The result was immediate and comprehensive. William was removed from the HOA board, faced investigation for conflict of interest violations, and became a social pariah in the very neighborhood he had terrorized. His real estate scam was exposed, and his harassment campaigns ended permanently. Sarah's approach worked because neighborhood tyrants rely on isolation and intimidation. They succeed by making victims feel alone and powerless. The moment you expose their patterns to the full community with clear documentation, their power evaporates completely. This methodology, research followed by strategic community exposure, works against any neighborhood bully because their patterns become obvious when documented and presented systematically. The book is $2.99 on Kindle, and it shows you exactly how to research neighborhood tyrants, document their selective enforcement patterns, and expose them to the community in ways that eliminate their power permanently. If someone in your neighborhood is using official authority to harass specific residents while appearing to uphold community standards, they're creating evidence of selective enforcement that destroys their credibility once documented and presented properly. Click the link below and get served cold now. Learn how to research community bullies, document their harassment patterns, and expose them to the neighborhood in ways that restore fairness and eliminate tyranny. Because neighborhood tyrants only survive when residents don't compare notes about their different treatment.